Hi people, me again obviously, Moino Ravenberg. Um, this is, as you can tell from the header as always, a quick video that I'm going to do on the Allatori. The Allatori, spelled Allatori, as you can see or tell, is a type of spirits or entities that are mentioned in the Greater Key of Solomon, the Order of the Pentacles, specifically page 75, figure 47. The seal that you're seeing, or not seal, the pentacle that you're seeing, is the pentacle from the fourth pentacle, is the fourth pentacle of Mercury. Again, figure 47. As the description reads, this is further proper to acquire the understanding and knowledge of all things created, and to seek out and penetrate into hidden things, and to command those spirits which are called Allatori to perform embassies. They obey very readily. And then you have the editor's note that says, in the center is the name of God, Il. The Hebrew letters inscribed about the dodecagram make the sentence Yod He Vav He. Fix thou the volatile, and let there be unto the void restriction. The versicle is, wisdom and virtue are in his house, and the knowledge of all things remaineth with him forever. Yeah, it's in Latin if I'm not mistaken. In any case, the thumbnail of this video is the pentacle, like I already said or mentioned. And yeah, I briefly wanted to look into them. The reasons for that I keep private, simply because I want to. But I just spoke to one of them. I essentially printed out the pentacle and I put my hand on it, so it was a printout, and I simply disposed of it in a practical and appropriate manner in alignment with the inquiry itself, the astral inquiry itself. And as is typical regarding the description of all if not most of the, or just in general, the pentacles of Mercury, they can with great difficulty, just like the first pentacle of Mercury said, not that I'm making a reference to that, a direct reference at least, just generally speaking, spirits associated with the mercurial pentacles from the Greater Key of Solomon, Order of the Pentacles, they can, as a description of one of those pentacles says, with great difficulty be seen. And the same thing goes for being heard. The best way to describe them is as simply transparent beings, but even more so than the average spirits that you'll see. I mean, compared to spirits that I summoned in the past when I was a beginner, lunar spirits were also like transparent, but they were at least watery, you know. But with mercurial spirits, you really have tremendous difficulty. Aerial spirits, you have tremendous difficulty seeing them. And with the Allatori, oh boy, it's even harder. It's like you're almost not seeing anything. Someone is standing in front of you, but you can't see them. And their voices even are quite airy in nature. I mean, when I was conversing with them, well, specifically one of them, and I saw what the others looked like, because that was one of my questions. I remember I briefly thought to myself, this literally happened like 5 minutes ago. I thought to myself, I was like, wow. In a matter of speaking, holy crap. If I, for example, was like, I don't know, power level 7 or something, or an 8, nope. It would be so hard to even interact with them, let alone do anything else. Anyways, what I can say, this is obviously, as is the case by default with my content, a note more to myself that I'm simply sharing with the public, but primarily it served for the former, so a note to myself or towards myself. They are they're straightforward and to the point, and they do not like their time to be wasted. They're quite disciplined, and they only purely want you to, if you ever interact with them, it's purely as an, okay, what do you want? Okay, this is what you want. Okay, we'll take care of it, goodbye. That's it. You know, they're purely businessy. Okay, they're businessy. I'm not saying that you can't interact with them for, metaphorically speaking, within an occult context, recreational purposes, but yeah, how do I put this? At the same time, it's impractical. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's impractical. They want to simply get down to the point and get down to business and whatnot, and it just goes on. They are of an undefined nature. They are both celestial as well as infernal. The simplest, most practical, best way to so to speak, classify them is that they're simply of an undefined nature, period. And yeah, just like the description of the fourth pentacle of Mercury says, as I already know because I've already made a statement or statements like that in the past, as in the 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 greater key of Solomon, the order of the pentacles. The descriptions, there is nothing like, for example, in the Goetia, that it might be potential misinformation or a mistranslation. No, it literally, to my knowledge and experience, the pentacles literally do exactly as they state they do. And yeah, what else can I say? Yeah, so it's the same thing here. When I asked the emissary, he simply said, "Yeah, everything you already know, everything that is written there, we can do. All the knowledge of the world, how the world was created, the extent to which Father Almighty allows us to know in terms of knowledge, and anything else that might be undertaken in the way of a magical project or similar. You name it, anything." And also specifically of a mercurial nature, but anything is on the table. Anything and everything is on the table. Of a mercurial nature, specifically an aerial nature, yeah. And they have more in common with Mercury compared to the Sun, obviously, although the latter can also be used. But I think people in general already know this based on what I've said in the past, like 101. Mercury deals, the Sun rules air from an elemental perspective, but Mercury, generally speaking, just overall is more practical for magical workings. Specifically the zodiac sign Gemini, for example, since Mercury directly rules Gemini. So yeah, with them it's the same thing, and obviously it's more practical to instead of using the general color for Mercury, which is orange, to simply use nothing, as in transparency, because you know the color of air is no color, it's transparent. Let me see, what else did I ask him and did he say? Nothing really, honestly. Before I summoned them, I want to say it took a while, but that's not the case. Like, it took a minute before they appeared. It wasn't that. I found it quite, not odd, but let's just say peculiar, in the sense of it stood out a little to what I'm used to. The thing is that these guys are so metaphorically invisible that they're already around you essentially, but even interacting with them is like almost like a video game loading time. It takes a couple of seconds. That's normal because again, it's in their nature. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The emissary I spoke to, the representative, took a humanoid figure, like huge, like as tall as my environment, my bedroom allows, so all the way up until the ceiling. But and I was like, the others, do the others look like you as well? And he showed me, and I was like, no, they simply took different shapes. They can take shapes of different creatures, but based on what I said, it barely even matters, honestly. You could be interacting with literal thin air and it would be the same. So in a certain context, or within the context of the aforementioned, or just this topic as a whole. So it's yeah, it's quite impractical to focus on an appearance. Even it's honestly, like I said, relatively speaking, compared to the average spirit, it's literally like you're interacting with air, as in it's like talking to air. Okay, the only difference is that the air takes shape, but like I said, these guys are they're so when it comes to interacting, seeing and hearing, they're so invisible that it's like, wow. I mean, you can barely even make out an outline in terms of appearance, like what's the physical appearance, as in physical characteristics or characteristics that are reminiscent of the physical plane. Oh man, let me see, was there anything else? No, not really. Like I said, anything is on the table in terms of what you want to know about anything. You can ask them, and they can help you with it. They obey very readily, as is written, but obviously at the same time, believe me, you really need to be disciplined and experienced to work with these kind of spirits, and they will not appear or even remotely entertain the notion of helping you if you if your intent is clear, or your intent or resolve, better said, is either unclear or weak, as in you're not sure about what you want and stuff like that. Nah. Okay, you need to be disciplined, as in, okay, what do you want? Okay, that's it. I mean, yeah, they do have like a gentle side to them, but at the same time, they don't like to have their time wasted. I mean, who does? So they're quite strict in that regard or aspect. And that's what's meant by they obey very readily, because there is, as long as, like I said, your resolve and intent and everything is in order, then yeah, they will not hesitate to help you. As far as I could tell, nor did they have any demands. If there are demands, I mean, yeah, they do have demands, but those demands will be relayed to you when it's very clear what you want and how you want it, etc. Okay, I mean, I want to say, other than just in quote unquote just information, but even for information, literally just for anything, including information or inquiries. If you need something, then if they need something in return as an offering or anything, or the requirements you need to meet, that then they'll openly tell you. But generally speaking, making an inquiry, a one-time inquiry is fine. That is all. Bye bye.